This evening, Demerara Harbor Bridge to close from tonight for 3 days for a Span 9 replacement. President Ali announces a 3% interest rate cut for poultry farmers. Chinese businessman allegedly robbed of millions at gunpoint in the region. Cuba economy, government seeks to revive food production. And internationally, Israel's judicial changes, reservists protest against government proposals. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for today, July 24, 2023. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, police are investigating an alleged robbery under arms committed on a Chinese businessman at Diamond Public Road in the East Bank of Demerara on Saturday, July 22, 2023. The businessman, 32-year-old Wang Jiwai, was allegedly robbed of $6 million by 3 male suspects, 2 of whom were wearing ski masks to hide their identities. They were each armed with handguns. Investigations disclosed that the victim resides with his wife in the upper flat of the 3-story concrete building. The second flat is a storage room, while the lower flat is a hardware store. According to Y, around 8 p.m., he closed up his business place and checked off his monies for the day, which amounted to $6 million. He took the cash into his room and secured it in a black haversack inside his room. However, around 2 a.m. the following morning, he was awoken by someone shouting, "Where is the money?" The man said he was confronted by 3 suspects who held him and his wife at gunpoint, tied their hands behind their backs and their feet together, ransacked the room, and removed the cash inside the black haversack before escaping. The victim claimed he managed to free himself and his wife and reported the matter to the police. 2 sets of latent fingerprints were lifted from the DVR, which the suspects removed but had forgotten to take with them. Investigations are ongoing. President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali has announced a reduction in the interest rate on loans to poultry farmers by 3%. Following discussions with major commercial banks, the interest rate will decrease from 8% to 5%, aiming to bolster the poultry industry and enhance food security in Guyana. The government's decision to remove corporate income tax on interest income earned by banks from loans to the poultry sector facilitated this reduction. President Ali emphasized that this is part of a broader strategy to promote food production, increase the food supply, and reduce essential food costs for consumers. These initiatives include strengthening the National Poultry Association, allocating land for rice production as feed input, procuring vaccines to reduce chick costs, enhancing the GLDA's nutrition laboratory, and improving transportation for live birds and feed to specific regions. President Ali highlighted that these measures are part of a comprehensive strategy to ensure the industry's vibrancy and competitiveness. Furthermore, President Ali reiterated the government's commitment to enhancing the entire agriculture sector, which has resulted in significant growth and contributed to a vibrant non-oil economy. The public is reminded that the Demerara Harbor Bridge will be closed for 3 days from 11:59 p.m. tonight, July 24th, to 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, July 27, 2023. The closure is necessary for the replacement of Span 9 of the bridge. The specific timing was determined based on tight considerations for this period. Water taxi operators on the Georgetown to Vrede and Hope route will work around the clock to transport passengers across the Demerara River during the closure. The Maritime Administration Department Director General Captain Stephen Thomas assured that fares will remain unchanged and security will be heightened along the waterways. Such measures include more frequent Coast Guard patrols and the establishment of police outposts at the Georgetown and Vrede and Hope Stalins to prevent increased crime during the higher passenger volume. A rescue boat and at least 1 water ambulance will also be available for emergencies. Guyana Police Force Deputy Commissioner Ravindranath Budram stated that procedures from the previous bridge closures will be implemented. The Guyana Revenue Authority, the private sector, Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, and the Joint Services will assist with boat and patrols throughout the 3 days. Replacing this new span will improve retractability and allow wider vessels to pass through the channels. Span 9 was damaged last September when the vessel MV Tradewind's Passion collided with the bridge during a retraction period. Since then, multiple repairs have led to this complete replacement. Stick around when we return. Canoe seizes over 100 pounds of cannabis in East Berbice quarantine, and taxi driver confesses to armed robbery at Providence Access Road.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Grove Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. He is Credit, and today we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you don't know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, dark seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radical went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Kanu has made yet another significant discovery of narcotics in the Berbice area. This buzz comes amid Kanu's recently released mid-year report revealing the alarming scale of narcotic seizures in the year's first half. Dale Jarvis has more details.
Ranks of the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit discovered 127 pounds of cannabis in several packages in the vicinity of Sea Dam, Crabwood Creek, East Berbice Quarantine on Saturday, July 22, 2023. The narcotics were taken to Kanu's Skeldon office in Region 6, where the packets were tested and weighed over 50 kilograms and a street value of approximately 17 million Guyana dollars. No one has been arrested, however, investigations are ongoing. Last week, Kanu released its mid-year report. The report revealed that from January to June, Kanu seized 667.4 kilograms or approximately 1,500 pounds of narcotics worth about 213.5 million Guyana dollars. The seized drugs included 662.4 kg of cannabis and 14.8 kg of cocaine. Some narcotics were also confiscated in smaller quantities, such as hashish and ecstasy. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dale. In a startling twist of events, police have apprehended a taxi driver who has confessed to committing an armed robbery on two women at Providence Access Road on the east bank of Demerara on Saturday, July 8, 2023. 27-year-old Quincy Barker of Tumiri, East Bank, Demerara, was contacted by a detective from Aquiro Police Station who informed him of the allegations, cautioned and arrested him at the Quibana Village Northwest District in Region 1 on Friday, July 21st. Barca reportedly attacked and robbed Maria Rodriguez Cabrillo and Shalea Toledo Rodriguez on the day in question. He was escorted to the Police Regional Division's headquarters 4B, where a video audio interview was conducted, and he later admitted to committing the robbery under arms on the two female victims using an ice pick. He denied, however, using a firearm. He remains in custody pending charges. Don't go away after the break. Panama's Darien Gap, a magnet for tourists but a hell for migrants. And Cuba economy government seeks to revive food production.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. He is Credit, and today all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all of these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, white spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinate soak for all you don't know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, jerk seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document planting flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radical went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Cross Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Cross Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. The Cuban National Assembly has just closed after a 3-day session. Cuba's economy grew by nearly 2% last year, but the island nation is producing far fewer food staples than it did a few years ago. Politicians are now scrambling to find solutions. Al Jazeera's Ed Agustin reports.
The Cuban National Assembly of People's Power has been in session for the last 3 days. Top of the agenda, reviving domestic food production, which has nosedived over the last few years.
Practically 100% of food staples are being imported instead of being produced in the country.
6 years ago, 40% of the rice Cubans ate was grown domestically. By last year, the figure had fallen to 4%. US maximum pressure sanctions, introduced by Trump and left in place by Biden, are taking food off people's plates. They starve the country of billions of dollars in revenue every year, which means less money to spend on fertilizer, petrol, and food imports. Cuba's policies focus on getting food to those who need it most. For example, every child under 7 still receives a litre of milk each day. But the state's capacity to shield the vulnerable from sanctions is diminishing. For the last 2 years, around 1 million elderly Cubans have gone without the vitamin and protein supplements they're supposed to receive. Now, triple-digit inflation is hacking into people's spending power, a problem that Maria Castillo is all too aware of. She's just spent 2 days' salary on a couple of mangoes and some plantains.
Before the pandemic, prices were acceptable. Now prices have been sky high.
While Maria trusts the government will eventually guide the country out of the crisis, for her 19-year-old grandson, Denny, the Communist Party's words ring hollow.
Life in Cuba is bad. There's hardly any food. You have to struggle to get by, and we can't live in Cuba anymore.
President Miguel Díaz-Canel today called on Cubans to use creative resistance to overcome the country's problems and boost production. What's your dream?
That my grandchild does something with his life, that he lives well, but he doesn't want to live here.
And your dream?
To leave the country and take my family with me.
Cubans emigrated in record numbers last year, and people in the capital today increasingly doubt whether the government has the ability to get the country back on its feet. One way for the government to convince more people to stay would be to get more food on people's plates. Ed Augustin, Havana, Al Jazeera.
Each year, thousands of migrants cross the jungle between Colombia and Panama. They travel 100 kilometers on foot through a rainforest known as the Darien Gap. It's an active route for undocumented migrants trying to get to the US. But now, wealthy tourists are landing in the same jungle for adventure holidays. Al Jazeera's Haiduzu Castro reports.
For the 250,000 people who fled their home countries and crossed the Panamanian jungle last year, the prize on the other side was a chance to inch closer to the United States, where they hoped to seek asylum. But for another group of people, tourists from Europe, a very different prize beckoned: memories and vacation videos from an extreme adventure.
Well, I would say that everyone had minor injuries, whether it was pressure marks on the hips and shoulders from the backpack, blisters on the feet.
The German tourism company Wandermut charges close to $4,000 for a 10-day Panama jungle tour, medical care and satellite phones included. The company says it goes where no one goes, making no mention of the estimated 2,000 migrants who attempt to push through the same Darien jungle daily.
We're in one area of the Darien, and this activity happens to take place in a completely different area of the Darien. So that's that. The second thing is, you got to wonder what kind of tourism would be sustainable if we were to take people to see other human beings suffer.
The contrast between the experiences of thrill-seeking tourists and suffering migrants in the same jungle is startling. The UN says at least 258 people have died or disappeared along the Darien route since 2018. Migrants have reported rapes and robberies. Families with small children struggle to scale muddy mountains and escape rushing waters.
People are dying, lots of them. They are dying in the jungle to get here. They are dying in the water. They're dying on the hike up, on the hike down. Lots of people are dying.
The Darien jungle was a destination for adventure seekers long before the recent wave of migrants, and Panama's government says it wants to turn the Darien National Park into a main ecotourism destination. But at the moment, the jungle draws many 100 times more migrants than tourists, with the number of desperate families crossing this year on track to surpass previous records. Heidi Jo Castro, Al Jazeera.
And internationally, proposed changes in Israel's judiciary system sparks protests, even within the military. Many reservists are refusing to report for duty, no longer willing to put their lives on the line for a country that they say is slipping towards autocracy. Al Jazeera's Victoria Gatimbe reports.
These Israeli reservists are adding their names to a declaration that says they'll no longer report for active duty in protest against the government's proposed judicial changes. They're among a growing number of pilots, soldiers and intelligence officers who say they're acting on principle.
I came here today to sign to convey the message that I will not serve a dictator, I will not serve in a dictatorship. I'm here to say that my kids won't grow up in a dictatorship, in a place that abolishes the basic human rights of equality.
Military service is compulsory for most Jewish men and women above the age of 18, and many volunteer for reserve duty well into their 40s. Reservists reinforce the regular Army, Navy and Air Force. In an emergency, Israel can order its entire reserve force, numbering more than 400,000, to report for duty. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the government will not tolerate insubordination.
Refusal to serve puts the security of all Israeli citizens at risk. The government will not accept refusal. The government will act against it and will take all necessary steps to ensure our security and our future.
Hundreds of Israeli reserve pilots first joined the demonstrations against the government in March by refusing to report for duty. Last week, 400 more announced similar action alongside air traffic controllers and drone operators. Commentators say it's significant because the Air Force is largely made up of the Israeli elite.
The protest of the army officers, but mainly the pilots, is almost a game changer and might stop the legislation. It's not only that they are pilots, but usually they come from the well-off social classes, from the right places, from the right ethnic origin, and they are quite powerful.
Protests against the government's plans to change the legal system show no signs of slowing down. Israel's army chief has warned Netanyahu his proposed changes could affect the readiness of the army. Victoria Gatenby, Al Jazeera.
It's been 100 days since fighting for...
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's Safe TV 2 headline news for this Monday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.